Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that's honestly a pretty brutal psychological reality. Our everyday digital habits are actively rewiring our brains. We're going to break down the actual science of how screens are quietly degrading our cognitive function, and more importantly, exactly what it takes to reclaim your focus in this super distracted world.
Let's just shatter a massive illusion right out of the gate. You know that persistent myth, the one that says your intelligence is just locked in a vault like it's a fixed score you're born with and that's it? Well, the reality is way more dynamic. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on exactly how you use it, every single day. And the hard truth we really need to face? Right now, your daily habits might be unconsciously training your brain to lose focus.
This all comes down to a concept called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's absolutely incredible ability to rewire itself based on your daily behavioral patterns. It's an amazing mechanism, right? It's exactly what lets you learn a complex new language or pick up a new instrument. But here's the catch. If you are constantly chasing those quick dopamine bursts on your phone, this exact same mechanism is currently making you slower, more distracted, and way less capable of deep thought.
So, let's look at the first big piece of this puzzle. The fragmentation of our attention and how short-form content and multitasking are just absolutely destroying our focus.
Think about it. When you sit there consuming 15-second videos for hours on end, you're inducing what cognitive scientists call attention fragmentation. And look, this isn't just a bad habit to feel guilty about. It is the literal physical weakening of your working memory and your deep processing capacity. You are basically making your brain physically uncomfortable with long-form reading or complex ideas simply because it's been rewired to only skim the surface.
And you know what else plays right into this? Multitasking. The idea of pathological multitasking is a total cognitive lie. Think about your workflow. You start a primary task, your phone buzzes, you rapidly switch to that distraction, and then you try to attempt a new task entirely. Let me be clear, you cannot do multiple, complex tasks at once. It's just not possible. You're really just rapidly switching between them. And every single time you pivot, you force your brain to hit pause, reorient, and completely drain its mental energy reserves. Over time, that constant switching creates some pretty severe symptoms. We're talking reduced accuracy, totally exhausted mental energy, and, most worryingly, a degraded ability to filter out irrelevant information. Heavy multitaskers essentially train their brains to welcome distraction. Eventually, you end up losing the crucial ability to filter out the useless noise from what really truly matters in your day. It's a real game changer, and not in a good way. Which brings us to our next major theme, the outsourcing of the mind, and how our devices are essentially creating lazy thinking.
We see this play out really clearly through something called cognitive offloading. By letting your smartphone act as your external hard drive for basic facts, phone numbers, schedules, your brain is making a subconscious calculation. It literally decides that internal remembering is just a waste of energy. It's the classic use it or lose it scenario. If you're not actively retrieving information, you are severely weakening your own internal mental database. Ultimately, it comes down to a choice between two paths. On one hand, engaging in deep mental struggle actually builds your reasoning skills and your mental endurance. It's quite literally like lifting weights for your brain. But on the other hand, what most of us actually do is rely on the search reflex. You know the one, reaching for a search engine the exact second we face a knowledge gap. Sure, it avoids effort in the moment, but it completely bypasses the cognitive friction you actually need to grow those deep reasoning abilities.
Psychologists actually have a name for this tendency. They call it cognitive miserliness. Basically, our brains are biological couch potatoes. There is a deeply ingrained natural drive to avoid effort and just seek out the path of least mental resistance. But here's the problem. By constantly taking the easy, digital path of instant answers, your brain loses its stamina. Before long, engaging in any kind of complex thinking starts to feel completely, utterly exhausting.
Okay, moving on, we really need to talk about the emotional and physical toll of all this, specifically the impact of digital validation, dopamine, and sleep neglect.
The costs of digital validation are absolutely massive. Constantly checking for notifications creates this underlying dependency that literally spikes your cortisol. That's your primary stress hormone. You're put into this state of constant emotional negotiation, which makes you chronically stressed, lowers your ability to actually learn from your mistakes, and fundamentally destroys the mental breathing room you desperately need for independent, clear decision-making.
This all leads to a pretty powerful, if uncomfortable, realization.
Constant, instant rewards train your brain to avoid effort and kill your patience. Every single scroll, every like, every ping, it gives you a quick, cheap dopamine fix. Much like failing that famous marshmallow test in psychology, this non-stop stream of instant gratification just destroys your patience. It wipes out your ability to tolerate the temporary discomfort that's absolutely required for real intellectual gain.
And that leads right into what is arguably one of the most destructive habits of all. Let's be real. Chronic digital sleep neglect is cognitive self-sabotage. Bragging about your late-night scrolling and claiming you can function on 4 hours of sleep, that is not a badge of honor. It's absolute self-sabotage that wrecks your attention and slowly destroys your memory.
Because when you actually get a full night of healthy sleep, an incredible physical process takes place. As you enter deep sleep, your glymphatic system activates. This system literally clears out metabolic brain waste. Think of it like taking out the neural trash. And while that's happening, your memories are being stabilized and organized for long-term recall.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that without this vital physical maintenance, your brain essentially operates as if it's intoxicated. I mean, literally. Sleep neglect wrecks your attention span, it severely degrades your reasoning ability, and it is hands down the fastest way to permanently lower your cognitive performance. By skipping sleep for screens, you are quite literally leaving toxic waste sitting in your brain.
So, with all of this going against us, how do we actually fix this fragmented focus and elevate our intelligence? Let's dive into reclaiming your cognitive mastery through what we call growth by subtraction.
To pull this off, we have to embrace a really profound concept: growth by subtraction. Now, typical self-help advice is always telling you to add things. Add new habits, learn new skills, stack more tasks onto your plate. But the hard truth? True cognitive improvement actually comes from ruthlessly eliminating toxic digital habits. It's not about trying to cram new apps or complex routines into an already exhausted brain.
By aggressively reclaiming your focus through subtraction, you start to develop something called metacognitive intelligence. This is arguably the rarest form of intelligence out there. It's where you actively monitor your own biases and adjust your mental strategies in real time. It is the absolute highest level of cognitive mastery, actually controlling how you think instead of just mindlessly reacting to the next notification beep.
And hey, the really good news in all of this? We talked about neuroplasticity earlier. Well, it works both ways. Yes, you might have spent years training your brain for distraction, but you can absolutely reverse it. If you're willing to just face the temporary discomfort of breaking these digital habits, you can challenge your own mind. By doing so, you literally rewire your brain back toward immense clarity and deep strategic thought.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Look at your daily life. Are you using your mind, or is your technology using you? And honestly, which of your digital habits is going to be the hardest for you to break? Take a moment, identify it, and make the conscious choice to subtract it today. Thanks for exploring this with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.